So, hey, everybody, I wanted to thank you for being here and introduce you to John Victorino, who I met a couple of years ago here at the Carlsbad Chamber of Commerce. And just to make a long story short, he continues to give a lot of value to his community of people that follow him. His expertise is really on page SEO. So, John, go ahead and take it away. And you're welcome to share slides or do whatever you need to make your presentation worthwhile.
Awesome. So I do have several slides for you guys today. And before I hop in to my presentation, my goal for the next 35 minutes or so is just to give you guys as much of a positive ROI on your time that you're investing with me here today. And how I plan to do that is just by giving you as much actionable steps as possible. I don't really find the value in really complicated marketing presentations if you can't take actionable steps after it. And before I get going, if you guys have any questions as I'm going through, go ahead and throw them in the chat box. I'll be looking at that chat, but I have it in another screen. I'll be looking at it periodically so I can answer any questions you may have. And if anything needs further clarification, go ahead and throw them in there. So what we're going to talk about today is how we can take advantage of Google to win in business. My spiel whenever I do any networking events is I help businesses get in front of their ideal clients, right? And to me, an ideal client is somebody that's looking for your service. And that's really what search engine optimization is about. So I pulled up here the top 50 websites in the United States. And if you look, 1, 2, Reddit is social / a search engine. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the top 10 websites are search engines, right? Netflix for entertainment, eBay for auctions, Yahoo is a search engine. So it's really important to be able to take advantage of these search engines. Now, I do want to draw a line between search engine optimization and search engine marketing, SEO, versus SEM. If you guys have looked into, any sort of marketing, you will likely run into these two acronyms. And the main difference between the two, they take advantage of search engines. Search engine marketing is the paid section, and then search engine optimization is the organic section. That's really the main difference. People always tell me, but John, the paid ads are showing up higher on Google. Why not invest my time and my money into that? Well, throw a 2 in the chat box for me if you guys like clicking on the ads versus the organic. Not seeing any 2s. So, most people are like that. And the reason being, people like to buy, they don't like to get sold, right? And with the paid ads, it's like you're getting sold. With the organic listings, it's like you're buying. And that's really the main difference in why search engine optimization is still just very, very powerful on top of doing your paid advertising methods. So let's take a look at search engine optimization as a definition. You don't have to read this, you don't have to write it down, but really we can make SEO as complex as we want it to be. We can throw all these crazy terms, throw all these different concepts, whatever that may be. I actually don't like this definition because to me, complicated doesn't work. The way I look at SEO is really your website is a machine. It's a machine that's designed to make you, your business, your clients as much money as possible. And search engine optimization is just fine tuning that machine so that you can make as much money as possible. And really looking at things in that way, just simplified search engine optimization. And I think that's just the better approach to doing things. So with that said, we are going to look at the on-page portion of my Google domination formula. And it's the engineered approach to search engine optimization. And I call it the engineered approach because you can take this approach to any industry out there. Doesn't matter if you're in, a contractor, if you're a doctor, you're an attorney, whatever it may be, the formula is the same. Google's algorithm is the same. The industry just changes. So with that said, the first step in this formula is defining our targets. Now, we need to figure out what things we want to have our business, our website, our Google listing, our whatever show up for, right? And knowing our keywords is really the first step, because when we do our keyword research, we figure out several things. Number one, are people searching for what we do? If people aren't searching for what you do, don't do SEO. It's gonna be a waste of your time, your money, your effort. Do something else, right? And this, it's not very often, but there are certain industries out there that people aren't searching for what you do. Maybe your service or your business isn't streamlined enough. Maybe people don't know about it enough. Whatever the case may be, if you don't find search traffic for your service, for your business, don't do SEO. The next thing that we're going to figure out is what are the keywords that you should be targeting. People search for a million different ways, and figuring out which ones are profitable to you is going to be very important, because again, we're going to focus our attention. And then how often are they searched? This now comes down to, can you actually make money versus what you're going to invest in SEO? So for example, if your service gets searched 10 times a month, let's say, and then your customer's lifetime value is $100, but based on the competitors that are on the first page, it's going to cost you $50K to show up on the top of the first page. Well, the math just doesn't add up. So you're going to want to do something else. And then finally, who are your competitors? Now, this is a big one. Once you figure out what targets you want to hit, what your keywords are, you need to figure out who your competitors are. I typically do not work with realtors, just because if I pull this up, if I search for real estate Carlsbad, California, number one is Zillow. Number two is Realtor.com, Redfin.com, Trulia, Movoto, Coldwell Banker. I don't care if you pay me $10,000 a month for the next 2 years. We're not going to beat Zillow. It's not going to happen. So, those are things that we really need to be aware of as we start to craft a search engine optimization strategy. There are certain industries that it just doesn't work. So what I want to give you guys today is a tool to figure out what keywords you can target. So for this presentation, I'm going to stick with a home service. A big portion of my book of business is working with home services. So it's just really easy for me to craft examples using that. But again, you can use these concepts for whatever industry you want. The tool that I use, that you can use, and it's free, is a tool called Uber Suggest. And you can just type this into Google. It'll pull up the first result. And once you click on that website, you'll see the search bar. And for this example, we're going to look at San Diego plumber, right? When you throw this into Uber Suggest, hit search, you'll get all of this data. And now you'll start to see San Diego plumber gets searched into Google 3,600 times per month, right? So really valuable keyword. If I own a plumbing company, I would definitely want to target that. And then we start to see variations. Plumber in San Diego plumbers, so plural. Plumber supply, not quite related, or not quite if you're a plumber. San Diego CA plumbers. San Diego emergency plumber. So now we're figuring out different keywords to look into, right? Now, right here on this column, the CPC, earlier we looked at, the paid advertising portion. If you were to run paid ads and target San Diego plumber, each click on those ads on here would cost you $63.70. That's a click. That's not a phone call. It's not a form fill. It's somebody just clicking on your website. So you can see if, you're running ads for San Diego plumber, getting 3,600 searches a month, that number can start to really add up. Perfect. No questions. Okay. So let's talk about your Google My Business. How many of you do not yet have a Google My Business set up for your business? Throw 3 in the chat box if you do not have a Google My Business listing set up yet. Not seeing any 3s. Perfect. So having a Google My Business listing is very important. I've worked on projects where, sometimes we are limited. We can't get this set up, whatever the case may be. I've seen projects that we set this up and you can literally triple the amount of inbound leads that you get. Triple just by setting this up. I mean, you have to set up in the right way, and that's something that we are going to talk about right now. So we are just going to go over the basics. There are a lot of different ninja tricks that you can do, but honestly, for most businesses, just doing the basics is going to be enough. First would be the business name. So if I search for San Diego plumber, Discount Plumbing San Diego is actually the first one that showed up for me in the map section. And, one of the big reasons for that is, well, in the business name, it has Plumbing San Diego, which is very close to the keyword that I typed into Google. The second one is going to be your business category. If you don't know what it is for your business, the easiest way to find out is once you figure out whatever keywords are relevant to you, just type it into Google, see what category the top ranking listings are using, and use the same one. It's the easiest way to do it. Copy what the winners are doing, right? And then finally, your business description. So if we go back here, we start to see, a bunch of different variations of the keyword San Diego plumber. Well, guess what? The very first thing that shows up on their business description is literally San Diego plumber, right? So they are telling Google, hey, this is what we want to rank for. And if I'm reading through this, we have sewer drain cleaning, plumbing repair, hot water heater repair, replacement, trenchless sewer replacement. So those are really big keywords for plumbers. And again, they're just working them in to their business description. And as Google reads this description, they start to figure out, hey, I should rank Discount Plumbing San Diego for XYZ as well, right? The paragraph is in quotes. Yeah, so this is just how it shows up. Here, it may be Google just doing it, but this is literally just how it shows up on their listing.
What was the question, John?
What do you mean?
Well, in the chat, I noticed that the complete paragraph is in quotes. Is that required or suggested?
No. So this is actually Google just automatically putting in the quotes. So you'll have like just a field and you're allowed 750 characters in there. So be wise with how you use them. But once you add it in there, it'll show up in quotes in Google My Business automatically. So this is Google doing this. That answer your question?
It did. Thank you.
Perfect. So those are the basics for your Google My Business listing. And again, if you don't have it, get it set up. It looks like everybody does have it. And if you do have it, pay attention to it. Something that you can do. Okay, I said I wasn't going to share a ninja trick, but now I'm going to share one. Something that you can do as you are getting reviews, try to get the person leaving a review to leave the name of the service in their review, especially if if you serve a local market. So for example, for Discount Plumbing San Diego, John from Discount Plumbing San Diego came by and replaced our hot water heater very quickly, because Google will read your reviews and say, hey, these guys are saying they did hot water heater replacements. Let's rank them for that. So that's just something extra as you are asking for reviews from your customers, your clients, patients, whatever it may be. And that will help you rank higher for those keywords that they add in there. If you can get them to add where they're located, mainly what city they're in, that will help you out as well. There you go. That's your ninja trick for your Google My Business listing. Super easy to implement. Just be aware of it. No questions? Perfect. So now let's talk about on-site optimization. So on-site optimization is just everything that has to do with your website. This is everything that you can control when you're building your website, or you're having your web designer build it for you, whatever the case may be. These are things that you can implement. Now we can really break things down into 3 letters: UMC, your URL, your metadata, and your content. And this is in the order of importance. Your URL is the most important place for you to add the keywords that you want to target by using Ubersuggest. Most likely everybody here has a set domain name already, so this might be something that you can't change. But if you start a new venture, or if you aren't married to your domain name, this is something to think about. So your domain name is the most important place for you to put the keyword you want to rank for. Main reason being, you can only choose it once, and you have the least amount of characters to work with in there, right? So if I was just a plumber in San Diego, I would try to get sandiegoplumbers.com. Now, you will pigeonhole yourself into the plumbing industry in San Diego, because it would be a little weird if you start to rank your website for Los Angeles plumbers, but your business name is sandiegoplumbers.com, right? So again, this comes down to how far do you want to reach, and kind of figuring out where you want your business to go. If you want to not limit yourself with a city, you can do something like johnplumbers.com. Now with this, you will start to rank for plumbing related keywords, but you're not nailed down by the city. So now you can start to target more cities without it feeling a little off to your customer. Now, if you do more than plumbing, then you get to be more general. You can do johnconstruction.com. You're not pigeonholed by the city or by the service. One thing to note here, though, is that as you get more general with your domain name, it's going to become harder to target specific keywords, right? Because we're more general, we need to do more to have Google give us those ranking points. So the next step, the next place for us to throw in our keywords is actually within the pages of the website. So if we take johnconstruction.com as an example, but we offer electrical, plumbing, landscaping, we need to start building different pages in there. And that gives us an opportunity to, again, put in the keywords that we want to target. The worst thing that you can do is have, johnconstruction.com/page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Because now you're wasting that opportunity to have keywords in your URL and give Google an idea of what they should rank you for. So actually what I want to do is I pulled up Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, and here we go. They're ranking number 1, plumbing, heating and air. They have plumbing in there. They're number 1 for San Diego plumber, right? And if we go into a couple of their pages, Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air / plumbing / water heaters. So this is the page that they use to rank for water heater repair San Diego. I would even go as far as saying water heater repair and replacement, or water heater repair / replacement. So working more keywords in there. And then another one, they're targeting the Carlsbad area, Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air.com / Carlsbad. So you can see really what you want to do, especially if you offer multiple services, is you want to have a separate page per service. And if you service different areas, you want to have a separate page per area. Now this can seem like a daunting task because your website is going to have a lot of pages in there, but you can literally just copy content from one page to the next and then just change whatever city name is in there. So that's a little shortcut that you can use. Any questions with that? Nope. Perfect. So the next letter that we're going to look at is your metadata. So metadata is information that we as people do not usually see on the website. So let's go through page title, page description. If we go back to San Diego Plumber, there is going to be a section on your website, whether you use WordPress, Weebly, Webflow, whatever website builder, whatever website builder you use, you will have a place to manipulate your page title. And this right here is Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air.com's page title. And you can see they have Plumber San Diego in their title, San Diego Plumber. We're working on the keywords again. And then this is the page description. Again, we don't really see these pieces of information if we're on the website, but Google can see them. And it's an important place to put in your keywords, Plumber San Diego. A couple of things to note with your page title. With your page title, you usually have around 50 characters to work with before it starts to show the ellipses. And if it does that, then you're not really getting credit for those keywords after this. So be very aware of how long your page titles are. With your page descriptions, you have 130 characters to work with before, again, they turn into the ellipses like this one. So whoever Core Plumbing SD is, if you know who they are, they need to fix their titles and descriptions. The last piece, as far as the metadata is concerned, is schema. Schema is not something that I have an example for you right now, just because it's a little complex, but you just need to know that it's there. So schema is information about information. So if I gave you these 3 strings of numbers, they really don't mean anything to you, right? They're just numbers. But if I tell you that the first one is a date, second one is a phone number, third one is a social security number, it makes more sense. So schema is just us labeling the information that we are handing off to Google to make it easy for them to sort our website, make it rank for the right things. Any questions with metadata? No. Okay. So the last piece of the on-site optimization formula is content. And this is, again, in order of importance, starting with your headings. So, if you have a web designer or if you're building your own website, you need to pay attention to your headings. We want to work in the keywords that we found earlier and work these into the headings. So if we go back to our example, for water heater repair, this is their H1 tag. This is their main heading, water heater repair in San Diego. Well, guess what this page is going to be ranking for? Water heater repair San Diego. This is another heading, 24/7 San Diego water heater installation and replacement. When it's time to call a San Diego water heater repair expert, right? These guys are doing a really good job of working in keywords into their headings, right? New water heater tune-up. So those are really the main headings that they are kind of checking off the list. The next one is going to be your paragraphs. So the paragraphs is this content right here. They are less important than the headings, but you can still work in your keywords in there. Map embeds. So again, if you have your Google My Business listing, let's see if these guys are doing it. I'm sure you guys have seen it where you can see, where the business is located. You have maps and directions right here. So they're embedding it through this link. And that just gives you more, that's just another signal for Google to see that you are in a certain location. Video embeds, if you guys have any YouTube videos, one thing that you can do with video embeds is you want to make sure that your keywords are in the title of the video as you're embedding it. So if you put up your own YouTube videos, make sure you title them appropriately using the keywords. And then for images, Google is a robot, right? It's a search engine. It's not a human that can see what an image is, although it's starting to. But on our end, as people that optimize websites, the main way for us to tell Google what an image is through the alt text and the file name. So as a website is getting built, as you're looking at your website, you want to make sure that the alt text on an image and your file names are appropriate using, again, your list of keywords. So we are about 8 minutes from our time. I will go ahead and open it up for some questions. If you guys have any specific questions about your situation, anything like that, throw them in the chat box, unmute yourself. Niall's got her hand raised.
Hey, John, thank you for that great presentation.
Sure.
As always, I always learn something very valuable when you present. So thank you so much. I did have a question about accessibility, meaning like for creating websites for people with disabilities. I'm curious about how that comes into play with ranking.
It's not. It doesn't really come up. I mean, I have websites that are, not ADA compliant, I guess, but they still rank #1. They still generate phone calls. They still create leads. But as far as just from a business standpoint is concerned, you could get sued. There is a plugin out there that I don't know what the name is. I have a web designer partner that he has a certain plugin that he uses. It's licensed, so he can only use it for X amount of websites, but it'll make it ADA compliant without you doing very much work. So,
okay. Yeah, because I'm wondering if it's something that like right now is not being thought of or not being ranked, but like one day overnight it will be, and we'll all regret that we don't have it on all of our, websites and stuff. So just curious what your perspective was on that.
Yeah, the thing that I'm seeing as far as, what things are on your website that can help it rank, SSL is one, making it secure. But as far as being ADA compliant, not yet. If you want to be forward thinking, you can install it and, use that plugin. But as far as it being a ranking signal for Google, I do not see that yet.
So comment, John, I was trying to remember where I was in a meeting where this came up. And there's some law firm in San Diego that's going after, they previously went after, ADA compliance with restaurants and, ramps and bathrooms and all. Now they're going after ADA compliance with websites and just suing people and settling and going crazy. So I'm trying to remember where I was in a meeting where that came up, and and the comment was like, okay, there are some plugins that you can do, and kind of the takeaway was, well, if you are if you're a retail business where there's walk-in stuff, you're probably going to be the first on the target, so you probably should look at that. So just it was interesting that somebody said, oh, there's this law firm and they're just going after all these San Diego businesses, and that's their
Yep, I wouldn't be surprised. And more businesses are rolling out the ADA compliance plugins. That's something that the web design partner that I use, whenever he builds a website moving forward, it will have ADA compliance. So it is moving in that direction. As far as not getting sued, but as far as making your website show up in Google, it's not something I worry about. Any other questions? We got 4 more minutes left.
I have another one if nobody else has one.
Shoot.
Sometimes first of all, I love proofreading. So sometimes I come across websites with spelling mistakes. And if it's somebody I know, I'll bring it to their attention, because I thought that is something that will get you ranked lower, as well as like inconsistencies with, like, I noticed with Anderson Plumbing, they used an ampersand and sometimes they used an and I was wondering if that could even ding them.
Not in that case. So now we're kind of treading into the realm of conversion versus ranking in Google. So Google is smart enough to know the difference between the ampersand and are pretty much the same thing. But if I was somebody shopping for services and I want to work with a professional company and there's spelling mistakes on their copy, now that starts to work into really how many people are going to convert by reading their copy.
Yeah, because I kind of think of it like spam emails. I think get filtered out when there's a lot of spelling mistakes. So I kind of thought maybe Google filters them out as well on websites. But...
So as far as Google is concerned, it's actually pretty good as far as, like, if you search for something and then you misspell a word or, whatever it may be, you forget a space, it's smart enough to know, hey, were you searching for this? It's smart enough to know that, but again, it's just going back to conversions, right? First, you got to get them to land on your website. Second, you got to get them to give you a call or submit a form or whatever the case may be. So that would be more of like a conversion issue.
And then, if I may say, there's always Grammarly.
Yep.
So in other words, people that are writing content, if you're not using something like Grammarly, it could be a problem.
Yeah, for sure.
Any other questions? Doesn't look like it. Perfect. So last thing I want to cover with you guys, I do have a special offer. Move my camera. So I am offering a free SEO analysis and strategy session. This is something that I charge $450 for, and what you would get out of it is a 15-minute discovery call. You get a 6 to 10-minute video analysis of competitors and your opportunities, and then a 45-minute strategy session that will include kind of like what we talked about here, actionable steps, but it would be specific for your case. So if you want that, I'm going to just shoot me an email. Whoever gets there first will get it.
And just so everybody knows, that's J Victorino at beaconseo.com.
Yep. So if you want to, I like offering value, especially to this group. If you're getting up at 7:30 in the morning to listen to me talk, yes, we'll get some good out of it, right? So that's it, guys. If you don't have any more questions, again, I hope you got some good value with the time that you invested with me this morning. That's always my goal when I do these presentations, is getting a positive ROI on your time, because that's pretty much your irreplaceable asset, right?
Well, John, thank you very, very much for being here. And once again, please visit beaconseo.com to and actually reach out to John. He's a very busy person, but I'm quite sure he'll make room or give you value in many, many different ways.
Yeah, if you guys are looking for you know, Zoom coffee connections, coffee meetings, shoot me an email. We'll set something up. Especially with Zoom, it's just so easy.
Yeah, it really is.
Love connecting with everybody in Carlsbad, the Carlsbad Chamber.
All right. Thanks, John.